guaranteed money's there. Here's what I would say about Brock Purdy. I don't want to pay him anything because he's making $900,000 next year.
Okay.
And that enables me to have the best team around him. So until I am forced to make a decision on him, and even then, I'm reluctant to give him $150 million guaranteed. Like, I'm just saying 150. I don't think
he's... Is our YouTube audio up, by the way?
I don't think he's worth, what Lamar Jackson's worth, because Lamar Jackson's body of work is greater. I also think that part of his value is baked in. So, like, for example, Dak Prescott makes $45 million.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what $45 million gets you on the Niners offense?
Probably
Kittle, CMC, and Ayuk.
Yep.
All right? So once you pay a quarterback $25 million, and nowadays it feels like you're either getting broke off or you're getting nothing.
But forget all that for a second. I understand all that. We all understand that.
Yeah, so I'm not paying Purdy anything until I'm forced to do it.
But despite all that, were you convinced after walking out of that game on Sunday that is your guy for the next 5 years?
I would put it this way. When I think of I want to make sure I put this out properly, because the Purdy fans lose their minds.
I know. Yeah,
they lose their minds. Right. We had no problem crushing Jimmy, and all he had was a rookie Debo and Kittle.
Oh wow!
And his leading receiver is Kendrick Bourne in the playoffs that year. But he was making $25 million. So part of the evaluation of Purdy is he makes $900,000. Once he starts making big money, people don't want to have those uncomfortable conversations. And the uncomfortable conversations are, on the surface, it looked like he played well. Watching the game back, seeing the breakdowns, watching the decision-making, watching some of the accuracy, the game wasn't as good as people thought it was.
There was a lot of hesitation there.
And here's the hesitation. When I lose playmakers, if I took Stephon Diggs off the Buffalo Bills because I'm paying Josh Allen $280 million, I know Josh Allen can win me a game down a couple playmakers. I have yet to see Brock Purdy win me a game down a couple playmakers. Patrick Mahomes lost Tyreek Hill.
He's won 2 Super Bowl VI.
With Valdez-Scantling, who Aaron Rodgers, who's a great player, Aaron Rodgers couldn't even, make a serviceable wide receiver.
Wow.
To me, that's the next step for this, for Brock Purdy. And we'll see. Like, he's in his second year. We'll see what he's like in his third year.
Shasky, the hesitation told me a lot.
Well, but be honest with yourself. If I paid Brock Purdy, Niner fans, be real. If I pay him $35, $40 million, what does the offense look like with no Kittle and no Ayuk? What does the offense look like with no CMC or no Debo? It looks different.
I don't think it looks good.
The great players in this league, the truly difference makers, and I know everyone was triggered by what Cam said, but peel it back. When you pay a quarterback $200 million, you're sacrificing multiple playmakers. That's why the Dak Prescott contract gets laughed at. Because when you pay Dak $45 million, you're losing playmakers. You lose your tight end. You lose your second wide receiver in Amari Cooper. And now I'm asking Dak to do more. If I pay Brock Purdy $45 million, and I have to sacrifice 2 or 3 weapons, you're all going to be looking at the equation differently. That doesn't mean he's not a good player. He's a really good player.
But can he elevate others?
There you go.
Is what you're asking.
Yes, it's a different question.
Oh, Shasky.
And I think people are unafraid to bring that conversation. So as long as he's making $900,000, I got no problem saying that's my quarterback. The second I have to think about paying him $35, $45 million, now I have hard decisions. And I'm not saying he's good. He's really good. He's really good. Can he put the team on his back minus multiple stars for an entire year? That's a different question. Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
It's a lot of truth.
Am I wrong?
No, you're not.
When I pay Derek Carr, great example. Like when I paid Derek Carr $35 million. I'm sorry, Derek Carr's not good enough to make $35 million.
He's not good
now,
enough.
if Derek Carr was making $1 million and I had a bunch of playmakers around him and I could afford a CMC and I could afford a Debo and an Ayuk, there's other guys on here, and I think in a vacuum, Purdy is a very good player for this team.
Listen.
But paying a guy is another step, and you have to be logical. The money has to matter.
Listen, there's 2 things that happened this postseason that alarmed me, and knows that no matter what Kyle Shanahan said during the week of the Super Bowl, I'm not 100% sure Kyle Shanahan is 100% sure
Who knows?
that Brock Purdy is his guy. No, let me tell you
why I think
hold on. Let me get in
important.
here. Next year is the biggest year of Brock Purdy's career. If he regresses at any point, Shanahan will look for a quarterback and move on in a heartbeat. And it takes a second, as Guru always says. Two things that happened this postseason that alarmed me, that told me that maybe everybody in the building is not all in on Brock Purdy. One, the article by Nick Wagner. That basically Shanahan admitted that, hey, if I could get Tom Brady out of retirement, I'm going to sign Tom Brady. And now everybody says he's the GOAT, but he is 45 years old. And the elbow, I get all that. Okay. But he is 45 years old.
Okay.
But the fact that that came out during the playoffs, I was like, that's interesting. Nobody knew about this. Now other people claim that, it was all respected. No, you did. You didn't know until Nick Wagner put it out there. Thing two, the voice of the 49ers. The voice of the 49ers said that it went through his mind during the Green Bay game that, boy, do you have to bench Brock Purdy here? He's not seeing it. He's not feeling it. Sam Darnold could do some of the stuff. The voice of the Niners had thoughts about Brock Purdy getting benched in the divisional round game against the Green Bay Packers. This is a player who finished in the top 4 of the MVP voting. That didn't come from anywhere, folks. So those two things, and then I watched the player. The first 3 quarters against Green Bay, number 13, number 10. I saw no difference between Jimmy Garoppolo and Brock Purdy that day through the first 3 quarters of the game.
Okay.
First half against Detroit, Jimmy Garoppolo, Brock Purdy. I saw no difference between the two quarterbacks. They made the same mistakes. Same mistakes. And they had 7 points. Now, credit to Brock Purdy. Came back in those games and rallied.
Yeah.
But in that Super Bowl, as we watch Super Bowl 58 in Vegas, Shanahan called, even their pass plays, very conservative. And he wanted Purdy to do he didn't want him to do too much, right? Maybe give Kansas City credit for having a good game plan this time, Brock Purdy. But I saw a quarterback at times look small, get his balls batted at the line of scrimmage. And when you talk about elevating other teammates, well, we have the sample size. While Steve Wilkes, during that 3-game losing streak, took all the hits, right? He's got to come down from the booth. He needs to be on the sideline. His defense to cover 0. During that 3-game stretch, we saw Brock Purdy, without Trent Williams and without Deebo Samuel, look very pedestrian. So I do wonder if he regresses at any point next season, what is it going to look like? Contract-wise, is Shanahan really sold on Brock Purdy long-term? I don't know.
Why is, like, when I look at Patrick Mahomes, he's set to make 60-something million next year, and he made, in essence, $59 million this year in cash. Okay, cash. Why is he so great? Because I could spend $60 million on Patrick Mahomes, and that means I can't spend that money on my offensive line. I can't spend that money on Tyreek Hill, and you're seeing him do it with a bunch of rookies and basically Travis Kelce, right? Would we all agree?
Yep.
Okay? It's harder to field the team around Patrick Mahomes making $60 million. He's so good, you almost don't even recognize it. I mean, right? Like I hate, like, and
Brock
he's
Purdy's
an unfair
quarterback
comp.
because it's already started.
What?
And this is why I'm scared.
But he's an unfair. It's an unfair comp. Like, I look at Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow got $45 million in guarantees last year, just for the cash that he was making last year. And they're going to franchise T. Higgins. And there are people out there. And Burrow has gotten to the Super Bowl. He's an excellent player. And he's gotten hurt a bunch. But people are like, can you pay Jamar Chase? Can you pay T. Higgins? Can you pay Mixon and Burrow? That question is already being asked. And we will see if Joe Burrow can make it work with just Jamar Chase if they move on from T. Higgins.
Yep.
When Dak Prescott's making $45 million, they had to get rid of Amari Cooper.
Doubt.
They had to get rid of Zeke Elliott, okay? And so they still won 11, 12 games, back-to-back years.
First-round playoff loss, second-round playoff loss, haven't got to the title game. It does.
But the way we talk about Dak Prescott, baked into it is, well, you make this much money and you don't have this many playmakers around you need to do more. Right? And so when I look at Brock Purdy, he's the best contract in sports.
Yeah, no doubt.
Okay? But the second I have to start paying him, well, now I got to think about it.
The second Shanahan loses trust in you is another thing. Now, Shanahan...
45...
Listen, hold on.
$45 million.
Let me get it here.
That is
forget the money right now.
Ayuk and Kittle.
I didn't want to go down that route because I want to go back to Steve.
But that's what it is.
Yeah, but I want to go back to Steve Wilkes for a second.
And we're talking about right guard.
Listen, there's a Purdy conversation. There's also a Kyle Shanahan. As we reassess the season and we get to the offseason, these are questions everybody's going to have in the offseason. Now, Bonte Hill, has never advocated to fire Kyle Shanahan. I haven't endorsed that one bit in the 7 years. I may have been critical of Kyle Shanahan. Some people think that I don't even like Kyle Shanahan. This could be farther from the truth. I have no problem with Kyle Shanahan. I earned a lot of respect for Shanahan with the way he dealt with the Trey Lance situation. I do. The way he broke it down, the detail and everything, I said, wow, look at my head coach growing up, man. That's Kyle Shanahan. I'm glad I got him as my head coach. But they did give him a contract extension early in the season. Mm-hmm. Did they have to? Because now he's so comfortable in his job. They gave him 2 extensions before they had to. Now, he's been great. And a lot of people could say he earned those extensions. Mm-hmm. But then you look at the Super Bowl and you look at the decision-making and you're like, damn, did you learn from Super Bowl 54? Did you learn? And the fact is that your team didn't know the overtime rules. That is a terrible look. The whole league is mocking us right now for not being buttoned up in the most important game of their lives. And you don't know overtime rules? You're not buttoned up here? What's going on? There's just too much stuff coming out of Santa Clara right now with Kyle Shanahan. So did you really have to give him the contract extension right